To a special meeting of the Town Board of the Town of Queens. I now convene this meeting. If you'll join me for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I do have an announcement. It's not on the agenda, but Sergeant Kelly Arnold's breakfast is tomorrow at the Senior Center. It's $15 per person, and it goes from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. I do have one bit of old business. I called up Roland J. Down, and it turns out that we are not even under contract with them, and we don't owe them anything for the work that they did. Their last regular maintenance was scheduled on 18th of November, and their next is 15th of April, which, once again, we're not in contract with them, so we can put out bids for whomever we want locally to do our heating and cooling at the new town hall.
That's good to know.
Yeah, and I spoke with James Rarick. And, he's ready to start bidding too. I don't think we need Rich to have a formal bidding process on that.
I'll double check the procurement policy, but my recollection on that, based on the amounts you were talking about at the last meeting, it's maybe verbal quotes or maybe it's written quotes, but I don't think it's a formal bid process that's needed.
He did provide us with some paperwork at the last meeting, which those prices look pretty good.
Yeah, I think something in writing, like maybe emails to 2 or 3 or 4, and then just.
But we don't tonight have to have a formal bidding process because
Nope. I think you can go out and get sort of requests for quotes or written documentation or submissions, and then present those to the board.
Okay. And Steve, your questions from Regina and Secretary Fazio were answered by email.
Refresh my memory.
One was the email from the stamping of the supervisor's report.
Okay. And also the negative balance on that
Right.
as well.
It was because of New Year's.
New Year's.
Same as Martin Luther King Day. So
Okay.
we'll avoid that in the future. And then these new holidays coming, we'll just prepare for it. All right, that takes us right into resolution.
All right. Councilmember Hope telling offer the following resolution and move its adoption. Whereas the town of Queens water waste treatment department has notified the town board that certain pumps at the town's Riverview pump station need to be replaced. And whereas the town board seeks to ensure the continued efficient and proper functioning of the town's wastewater treatment systems. And whereas it is anticipated that the cost to purchase and install the pumps and associated equipment will require bidding pursuant to General Municipal Law, Section 103. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of Queens does hereby authorize the town supervisor and chief sewer plant operator to solicit bids for the pumps and associated equipment and services in question.
I'll second that.
Discussion?
So for discussion, Keith, do we have a thorough scope of services to accompany the bidding process?
On the one that we have there, they were because I talked to them physically and they told me how they were going to do it. So they were going to replace everything in it. The only thing is that I don't know if they'll be able to replace the plug valves, which are, because that is a running, we'll always have water running in there. So we have to have Blue Diamond or somebody like that or someone to suck it so that they could change those because otherwise there's no way to plug them off for them to make that change. So I don't know what their aspect is or if they were going to work on, they were telling me they were going to replace one and then, so the other one was working and use that one and then replace the other one. That's what they told me. I don't know if that'll be able to work that way, my opinion, but I'm not the expert, but if we're going to change those plug valves, we have to have someone's going to have to be there sucking the sewage out of the manhole, the wet side, so they can make those changes.
And when you say they, you're referring to Eamons?
Any of those companies.
Okay.
Because they got to stop the flow, I mean, you got to, and I don't know, maybe they have some way, I don't know, that's one of my questions I'm going to reach out when I talk to them, how they're going to do that, because they do have them in the thing, but they never mention anything about stopping the flow or so they can make those changes.
So you don't have a written scope of work currently?
I can give you what they gave me.
Okay.
So we have received written estimates.
Right.
that-
Yeah, I have the one from Eamon's in front of me.
Yeah.
There was another one by email that Keith had forwarded to us on January 27th.
Right, so based on that, we were going to put together basically a set of bid specs that would then go out to all the potential contractors. The engineers have identified some other alternatives that we'll include in the mix, and then we would go through that formal bid process. We'll probably keep it a pretty tight turnaround. I think the minimum is 5 days, maybe you'd go more than that, but the goal would be to get a pretty quick response.
Okay, and when you say the engineers, you're talking about LaBerge?
LaBerge had weighed in because they were working on that overall sewer, grant. And so they had looked at the scope in the context of that. I guess my initial concern was we wanted to be sure we weren't doing anything that they thought would be sort of wasteful, right, in light of the overall project that they were pursuing. And so I'd be inclined to have them weigh in on the specs just to be sure they sign off.
Do we have an amended contract with LaBerge for this scope of work? Because the only one that we have a master agreement with them, and then I thought we amended the master agreement to include the grant process, but this is outside that scope.
Yeah, I mean, I asked the question, I guess, in the context of that grant application, because we don't want to do anything that's sort of inconsistent with that. We can ask, do they think this will generate additional fees over and above what they would otherwise do for the grant? And we can ask.
Yeah, I think that's important to know.
Yeah.
Okay. So Keith, you got two quotes then, right? You got one from Eamon's and one from, I can't remember the company's
Yeah,
name.
it's through Seaworth, but they have an outside contract that does their work. So they were gonna do the work, they just subbed it out through Seaworth. That's right.
Okay.
And I think they moved to Albany now. Those are the two quotes I got, because those are two local people. I actually asked Ron LaBerge that if he knew of any other contractors, people that could contact that could do this kind of work. He gave me two other names. I contacted them yesterday, and I heard back from the one. I have not heard back from the other one. They're sending someone in next week, I think, to come down and look at it so they could give us a quote to do the work. Because we needed 3, so I was looking for a third person. I contacted 4 people, and I just got to reach out to Emmons and Seaworth, just to let them know what's going on and everything, and then make sure that they are aware of that it's going out to bid.
Okay. So just to recap, you're going to be working with Mr. Riley and LaBerge to put together a thorough written scope of work, and then the bidding process will start.
Process, right? You referenced quotes, but it's really a bid process for something that just
Yeah, because I think, Eamon's was
85.
Well, for just one was 29,987. But I think you told me, or you told the board in the last meeting that if we replace both of the pumps with a control panel, it was going to be about $85,000.
They gave us a bid, because that's originally what I was doing. I was getting a bid to do the whole thing over and everything. And then then they said, well, let's see if we can just get parts to fix the other one for the time being, while you go through the process of getting this far, And then they found out that we couldn't get any parts. So it just rushed everything. Then we thought, well, maybe we should just change a pump in each one of them, and then we can buy it for more time. But and then I started thinking about it, if you're gonna spend $60,000, and just, fix half of both lift stations, but then you gotta keep going forward, because how long is the control panel and everything? So then you gotta come up with even more money. This way, we just knock one off for the $85.90, that's last year's bid, so our quote, so there's that. And then I was down inside, I've been checking it out. We can actually pull the one pump at Riverview out, because it has the same rotation as the one that's bad at Division Street. So we could literally just pull that out and take it up and put it in that one for the time being, and work with that. They both spin the same way.
Right.
Okay, so it's just a simple. And then, if worst case scenario, we pull the impeller off and put it on the other one, and just leave the motor in there. But we could swap the whole thing out, or just machine the impeller and that, and use what we have and go with it.
Okay.
You know, I'm just trying to save money, but try to get the most value
Yeah.
for what money we have, you know? And not spend it foolishly, you know, I mean, yeah, cause when we looked at it before when we were doing MJ, we were talking like 209 per lift station, cause we wanna go submersible, which is, you know, to get it so it's safe, because now you're going down 15 feet in the ground. You're working, it's confined space, you gotta have meters, you gotta have air control. You know, there's a lot to it, so if we could get away from that, that's all I was looking at, but with the way the cost of things are, this is the most efficient way and the best way to get a new lift station. It'll get us for the next 25 years. You know, and let them worry about it after that, you know. But we may upgrade it anyway if the port keeps growing, you know, we may have to do something, you know, but this will be sufficient for right now for the next 5 to 10, maybe 5-10 years with the pumps, because they pump 180 gallons a minute. There's two, that's 360, you know, so, you know, right now we're doing less than that, you know, they were originally set for 160, so you're only at one pump, and that's probably running 100 gallons maybe, or 80, you know, we don't know.
Okay.
I do think that's the best for our money.
If you only were looking to purchase one pump, you might fit with it, you know, below the $35,000 threshold.
Process.
But if you're really contemplating two, we really shouldn't sort of
I mean,
implement it, and you might as well just go through the bid process.
We're talking about a really nasty situation if something really goes south, you know, so I think we really have to, you know, consider all of the facts, the age, everything else, and, you know, just get it done.
Because if we could fix it, well, you know, put a new impeller on it and be good, you know, we can't even do that.
I think we're out of Band-Aids at this point in time.
That's not.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
I'll go next. I, Councilmember Stout, offering the following resolution, move its adoption. Whereas the town board of the town of Queens has retained MJ Engineering, Architecture, Landscape, Architecture and Land Surveying, PC, MJ Engineering, to provide planning and engineering services to the town. And whereas the town board has received a February 7th, 2025 proposal from MJ Engineering to provide professional services in connection with the town's acquisition and renovation of a new town hall. And whereas MJ Engineering proposes to provide such services, including review of existing documentation, oversight in any necessary bidding processes, and oversight of any construction for the lump sum of $79,500. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the town board of the town of Queens does hereby authorize Stephen Donnelly to sign the proposal provided by MJ Engineering, Architecture, Landscape, Architecture, and Land Survey, PC.
Second, discussion?
So just for discussion purposes, I did reach out to MJ today. Mr. Andrew Cohert is here. I know that, you know, Mr. Donnelly's had conversations with MJ. I know you and I, Mr. Stott, had a conversation with MJ. I know Linda wasn't there. So I just wanted to see if someone from MJ would come down, and Andrew was gracious enough to, you know, be here. So if anybody has any further questions or concerns for him or the scope of services or the proposal, I figured it'd be good to have him here. I personally don't have any other questions or concerns.
Any questions?
I think that the proposal's technically sound, the most technically sound proposal as submitted of the two proposals. It's complete. And that's, in my opinion, the better of the two proposals. Especially based upon discussions last week at the meeting when the other proposal in the discussion didn't include electrical, water in the plans, you know, based upon discussion that was brought to us by the supervisor that in his discussions with the other company. And I think that's, if you're gonna work on a town hall, you gotta have blueprints and proper drawings that include all avenues of what's there, electrical, water, all sorts of structural, and you know, unless we're building a town hall that you're gonna, you know, hitch your horse up to and have a water pump out front. You gotta have all that in there. I didn't see it in the other ones. I believe this is the better of the two proposals.
Any other further comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Nay.
Nay.
Motion doesn't carry. I, Supervisor Donnelly, offer the following resolution and move its adoption. Whereas the town board of the town of Queens has retained LaBerge Engineering and Consulting Group Ltd., LaBerge Engineering, to provide planning and engineering services to the town. And whereas the town board has received a November 2024 proposal from LaBerge Engineering to provide professional services in connection with the town's acquisition and renovation of a new town hall. And whereas the town board has also received additional clarification and details concerning the scope of the professional services LaBerge Engineering has offered to provide, and whereas LaBerge Engineering proposes to provide such services, including review of existing documentation, oversight of any necessary bidding process, and oversight of any construction for the lump sum of $18,500. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Queens does hereby authorize Stephen Donnelly to sign the proposal as clarified and detailed by LaBerge Engineering, Architecture, and Surveying Group.
So we're signing a proposal dated for November 20th when they were including the police department in the November 20th bid.
I believe they have had several amendments.
There's been several amendments to that November 20th, 2024 proposal. So we're going to approve the November 20th, 2024 submission that includes the police department. How can we do that?
We can change the date. We've done that before, I believe.
Change the date. We do have in writing through email, through questions
Just
that.
on by the resolution.
Well, I understand, but also to, Jim Clark from LaBerge did say, when I asked him specifically in an email, are you sure that what we're saying you're understanding, because we are maybe not including the police anymore? And he said, even though that was in the writing that he sent the second time, he says that was his mistake. He understands that might not be included, and the scope of services still stays the same, and so is the price. So he is fully aware of it.
Okay, well, I'll just continue to note my dissension based upon the November 20th proposal and the project submission, and continuing to note that he keeps making mistakes in his submissions to us. And that's the route that this board's going to continue to choose to go with.
So I'd like to propose, so whereas the town board has received, instead of November 20th, 2024, received the revised February 27th, 2025, that we all have received via email. Like second. Seconded by Councilperson Stott. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
Motion carries.
Just to confirm that revised date was February 24th, correct?
No,
As I'm looking at it.
the revised February 27, 2025.
I, Councilmember Schmidt, offer the following resolution and move its adoption. Whereas USDA Rural Development Water and Environmental Program provides funding for the construction of water and waste facilities in rural communities. And whereas under said grant program, applicants are required to authorize an official representative to file the application as an authorized representative. And whereas the town of Queens plans to apply for USDA RDWEP funding for the town of Queens Sewer Systems Improvement Project to replace and improve sewer infrastructure in the town of Queens. And whereas the town of Queens must designate an authorized representative to apply for USDA RDWEP funding on behalf of the town. And now therefore it is resolved that the supervisor is hereby authorized to execute and file an application on behalf of the town of Queens with the USDA RDWEP grant. And be it further resolved that the supervisor is hereby designated as the authorized representative and to act as such in connection with the application to provide additional information as may be required, including all understandings and assurances contained in the application. And be it further resolved that the supervisor is hereby authorized and directed to execute any contract and/or agreement, executive's permission to sign any and all USDA, RD, WEP documents that bind the town of Queens. And be it further resolved, to the extent all or any actions hereby authorized have been executed and/or performed by the supervisor, all are hereby ratified and confirmed, and this resolution take effect immediately.
I'll second that.
Seconded by Councilperson Bruno. Discussion?
For discussion, Mr. Riley, just that last, be it further resolved to the extent all or any actions hereby authorized have been executed and/or performed by the supervisor, all are hereby ratified and confirmed, and this resolution take effect immediately?
What does that mean? Yeah, I mean, I'm not aware of any such actions actually having occurred, but this is the standard resolution that LaBerge sent to us in connection with the grant that they wanted, or that they recommended be approved. So, I mean, we really didn't modify their format other than to put it on, you know, in your, we added your caption and various references to the board members, but I'm not aware that the supervisor has actually taken any action since the whole board authorized the survey, the income survey, you know, a month or so ago.
No, there hasn't been any. In fact, this came in today at basically 3 p.m. this afternoon when we were having conversations with Nancy Costine. She's a senior community development specialist. And we're trying to get onto the USDA site, and we were having complications because they need several pieces of identity from me, including license and social security number, things like that, along with town information. So we have scheduled for Monday to try to complete that process so that we can accept the $500,000 award.
Now, when you say accept, basically, we're just stating that we're going to be providing receipts and things going forward.
Yeah, they need a representative, an authorized representative first, so that's what this is, and we can't move forward without it. So she sent that to me immediately when I found out. And she sent an email along with it.
So she sent you that email, then you reached out to LaBerge, and LaBerge put this together and sent it to Mr. Riley, or?
No, I spoke to her today because I was having issues getting on the website, and we didn't know if it was because some of the federal things that have been happening. So I gave her a call, and then she sent me this and wrote, "Hello, Supervisor Donnelly. Attached, please find a draft authorization resolution relating to your Level 2 authentication role in the USDA RD Apply, that's Rural Development Application. The resolution authorizes you to become an authorized representative or administrator for the town and must be uploaded as part of the authorized representative request." So we have to move forward with this in order to have everything in place so that we can get the $500,000 award.
Okay.
All in favor?
I don't think we have a second yet, do we?
Ms.
I
Bruno?
seconded.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Okay,
I did.
sorry, I didn't hear that.
That's okay, that's all right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Councilmember Bruno offer the following resolution and move its adoption. Whereas the town board wishes to continue the work of the Ethics Committee, now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Queens hereby appoints Marilyn Peters Hoteling to the Ethics Committee with a term to expire December 31st, 2025.
I'll second.
Discussion?
Everybody's aware who Ms. Hoteling is?
Yes.
And no relation.
In relation to
Differently. Differently.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Upcoming meetings, March 10th is PBZ meeting at 7 p.m. March 13th is our next town board meeting at 6 p.m. March 25th is a town workshop at 6 p.m. And March 26th is another PBZ-BA meeting at 7 p.m. Even though it's a special meeting, we'll still have public comment if anybody would like to step to the lectern. Now's the time.
I just want to ask a question. I want to ask, so, all the stuff we're talking about with the new facility, is it like we're not gonna put the police down there, or we're gonna hold off on that until we go piece by piece?
That's gonna be a second project. Phase 2 is going to be police in court.
But you're definitely still thinking about putting it down there, the police,
Down where?
down at the new
W, not in the actual
Oh,
building,
yeah,
but
on the property.
on the acreage,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's all I want to ask, thank you.
Briefly.
Good evening. On the grant, did you guys get awarded the grant yet?
Yes, it has been awarded to the town.
But you haven't filled out the application yet.
That's the process that we're in right now.
Yeah, it's some type of a, as I understand it, there was a term of a congressional allocation. So it's been funded, it's been awarded, but we still have to go through the process of filling out paperwork, whether that's an application or some type of a grant agreement. That's the
I went
process
up
that we're
there,
going through
I went
now.
up there one year when I was on the board and met with Paul Tonko for the same grant. And the money was always earmarked, but we never got it. That's why I'm wondering, are we getting the money or are we just applying for it?
We get awarded.
So,
It's been earmarked. I don't know that there's an award that's,
Oh, I thought that.
it's my understanding that it's actually reached the level of having been awarded. That being said, there have been some executive orders and actions taken since the 20th, so maybe that creates a little bit of uncertainty there, but with the exception of that, it's my understanding that it had reached that stage where it was, it was actually awarded.
Well, I mean, that's fantastic. If we get it, that's fantastic, because
Yeah.
we weren't able to secure it.
Yeah.
Because, and Tonko said that you gotta wait for the federal budget to be approved, passed. But the money was always earmarked. But like I said, we never got it, so.
and this was all work that was done under the prior administration through MJ Engineering.
Yeah.
That's how we got to this point.
Yeah.
And we're sort of hoping to, 500,000, and we accepted the income study to be done and with other studies so that hopefully we can be, seen as a community that needs more funding, and that's where the $2 or just $3 million hopefully comes in later on. Fingers crossed.
I mean, if you guys get an opportunity, we went up there and met with Tonko. He was excellent to meet with.
It's very easy to talk to.
Yeah, him and Petruselli, the mayor of Watervliet. It was very good, and the village of Ravena went along. But again, we never got it, it didn't make 500,000, so. When I hear it, I'm just curious if we're actually gonna get it, or we have to apply for it and then it's awarded. If we do, I think that's awesome. So.
Thanks, Steve.
Thanks, Dan.
Any further comment? Seeing none, I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.